5 things off the wall.
That's us, man. 24/7.
You should expect the unexpected. I mean,
Make it known that this is all about being 100% authentic.
We are live now.
So, with that being said, let's jump right in.
play, man. Gotta pay to play.
Yes, you do.
Yo!
What up? Welcome to 5 Things Off the Wall. I am your boy, Rick. We are back. We're back, and my co-host did not realize that I've changed my name to Drick. Yes, it is sticking. It has stuck. Drick is in the house. What up, people?
What's going on?
See me that?
What's going on?
That? What up?
Coming to y'all from
Walter.
Tampa.
Walter Cronkite. What up?
Chill, fam. Yo, Walt's here. The funny thing is, so when D jumped on,
What's wrong with y'all?
He was getting set up for this thing, and D jumped on. I didn't see the R. I was like, yo, D, what is we doing? Like this, we getting vulgar real quick. What's happening? Nah, man,
no, we keeping it R.
Like, oh,
we're keeping it R.
We're
What's up, Dev?
Come on, Dev. Hit him with the P.
Dev, our influencer.
Dev is over there thinking about that prior conversation we had before we came on live.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Peace, beautiful people. What's going on?
Dev, what are you laughing about, man?
What conversation y'all had before you went live? What was y'all saying? Something else?
You act like you wasn't just sitting right here.
No, we're talking about him not getting the messages on his phone.
Oh.
And then we pinpointed exactly what the problem was. Dev, I'm not even gonna put you out there.
We are not gonna put him out there like that. We ain't gonna do that. We are not going to do that.
Hey, listen, that company is a multi-million-dollar company, man.
They are.
They need to get their service together.
Not robbing y'all.
Not a rock. Listen, they use the same service as everybody else. Everybody uses the same.
Yeah, they use the same towers.
Oh, yeah, but what part of the tower are they using?
The same parts.
The leftovers. They're using a leftover bandwidth. That's what they're using.
Listen, we're not gonna say their name. We're gonna continue to keep moving. Let's go.
Right. They might endorse us in the future. So
yeah, right.
All right, let's not burn any bridges. Let's get into it, baby. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, people.
Yes, it is a new year. We were on break, people. I know you were wanting to hear from us. You wanted to hear what we had to say about topics and everything that's been going on, but sorry, we just wanted to spend some time with our family. We are refreshed and we're ready to go.
That's what they said.
We're ready to go. Right. And so
I'm still on vacation.
Yeah. Oh, C Mac's still on vacation. Where you vacationing at? Where you vacationing at, C Mac?
I am in Tampa, Florida.
Are you vacationing?
Yeah. Devin, don't.
What's the temperature?
The high today I think was 81, 82, something like that.
Hot dang.
She in Bali. She's not really in Florida. She's in Bali.
Hey, C Mac, when you coming back? I think that's the question Dev want to know.
I will be back in Georgia around the 22nd and 23rd ish of January. March. Oh wow! So you doing that too?
I'm just saying you've been gone for like 8 years.
I will be back before February because remember, well, y'all probably don't know, but Devin knows that we are going to Cabo in February. So I have to be back this month.
Let's hear that. Let's hear this all the way through.
The vacation after the vacation.
Exactly. Spider just said, I'm taking 3 months off of work and then I'm going on vacation.
3 months? I have barely been here a month. And the first week that I was here, I was still working.
Okay.
Here's what's going to happen. Devin,
it's not going to happen like that because I told you I am going to Cabo. And so I have to fly out of Atlanta to Cabo.
22nd, 23rd, we're going to get a call. I decide to come back on the 1st. And she's not even disputing that because she knows that that's a strong possibility.
After the Cabo.
Let's keep it going, guys.
I'm coming back
And-
after I come back from Cabo. I got you. That makes
No,
sense.
no,
Nice.
no. Cabo's like in February. It's not at the beginning, meaning
My-
there's still
Oh,
space there for
see?
Crystal to do the BS that
No,
we
I
all
am not
know.
going to do that.
so see, man, I just got one question. Y'all hiring?
Yes, we are hiring.
I got to move to Atlanta to work.
No, actually, we have employees in
Tennessee.
In
Nashville.
Nashville? Oh,
Yeah.
well, hook a brother up. Let's talk. We're going to talk offline, y'all. Me and C Mac about to run the company.
Oh my God! Please don't say that too loud.
Yes. All right, y'all. Let's get into it. So a lot has happened, since we've been gone, but there's one particular incident that has really got caught the attention of I would say probably the world. I know definitely America, but I would probably say it extends beyond the world. And that incident is surrounding the Monday Night Football game against the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watched on Monday in real time, you probably saw what happened with Damar Hamlin. And did you all watch the game?
No, I didn't even watch the game. I didn't find out about it until the following morning.
Nah,
Okay.
I watched it. I got a vested interest in seeing the Bengals lose at all terms.
Of course.
I wanted the Bills.
I went to turn it on my phone because I was in the casino. So I was turning. Don't do it there. I was going to put it on my phone to watch it, and when I turned it on, I saw, the latter part where the ambulance was there, and I saw the people, the players crying and stuff, and I was like, "What in the world happened?" So I thought, for some reason, I thought that it might have been like a fight because the first thing I said was like temporary suspended. So I was like, "Did they get the fighting out here?" And so then I Googled it and I found out, what happened.
Yeah.
So I watched. I was sitting there, and I was, it was early in the game, and I wanted the Bills to. I was hoping the Bills would come out swinging and really blow them jokers out the water. And then there was one injury prior to Damar Hamlin's, and then it was the Damar Hamlin injury. So it's kind of like I saw it, but you know how they do injuries now; they don't show them right away.
Yeah.
Especially because of all the heat they caught for the I think was it
who was the injury before? Was it his? Because I think I saw that his best friend had gotten hurt too.
it was another safety, I believe.
One of the backs,
another DB. But no, I'm talking about like earlier in the season.
Oh, right. That's why he was in, because the person that was doing that position got hurt. He came in.
Yeah, Mike
right. It's a neck, a neck injury.
Not that injury. Whatever injury they showed where somebody like broke their ankle or something like that. It wasn't that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they just kept showing it over and over.
I feel like it was Dak Prescott's injury.
It might have been, but I don't know. But anyway, so I missed it. Everybody missed the actual it happening in real time unless you were in a stadium. But even when they showed it on the replay, it was immediately unnerving.
Yeah.
Immediately. And what brought it home was not just the guys crying. Like, yeah, that was tough. Like, you look in Josh Allen's face. Like, if you go back and you look, at Josh Allen's face during all of it, had a look of extreme concern and fear. So that to me, like, that was quite possibly one of the toughest things I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
So
I was watching, and so I was really watching the whole situation, and actually before everybody came on the field and was kneeling down after it happened and he fell, I watched the judges and I guess personnel that was right there, and I saw somebody run off to the side, and when I saw that, I said, "Oh, this is serious." Not knowing exactly how serious it was, and then my wife and I we just kind of sat and waited to see if the game was going to start back up, and they almost did. They almost did. I think the NFL said they were going to give them about 5 minutes to warm up, and then they
So
kept going to break.
so that was the thing, right? And I want to kind of, I don't want to stop there, but I want to stop at that point just to say, I don't know that the NFL said they only need 5 minutes. I think that was what the announcers said.
Yeah.
Now I trust Troy Aikman and them, and I believe that. But when you got that many hands in a pot, I'm sure there was somebody who said, "Hey, let's give them a few minutes. Let's give them 5 minutes, and then they'll get warm up." Or maybe um, maybe somebody was like, "Hey, in about 5 minutes, they're going to get back out there," because you see Joe Burrow warming back up. So it's
Right,
like,
right,
ready to
right.
get back out there
So it
too.
had to come from somebody official. It wasn't just the
Well, I don't
announcers.
know. That's what I'm saying. It might not have necessarily been
Mhm.
anybody official, and it may not have been an official NFL position because the dude Vincent or whatever,
Troy Vincent.
yeah, Troy Vincent was saying like, yeah, no, we never
Yeah.
discussed even going back out there to play. Like that never even happened.
Mhm.
And Sean McDermott was like, yo, I need to be at the hospital with my guy. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So and even the Cincinnati's coach was like, yeah, that was the first thing that came out of his mouth was not playing the game.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
about my
Yeah.
player. I need to be spending time with my player in the hospital because it's serious. So I
Mhm.
don't know that there was ever agreed upon like time frame,
Yeah.
to get back on the field. But I think that this whole situation is highlighting how terrible misinformation is and how even the fragility of human life people just don't care.
Yeah.
Like this Joker is out here like he died on that field and they had to
Yeah.
resuscitate him.
Bring it back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to bring it back.
And people are using that as an opportunity to start spewing COVID rumors and
What? I haven't heard any of that.
they
Yes.
talked
People were
about
asking, do they think him getting the shot, COVID shot, had anything to do with
the,
what
Oh
happened?
God, that's all Aaron Rodgers needs, right?
I read a couple of articles that said on some conservative sites there was a spike in misinformation about COVID use. I mean the COVID vaccine in relation to the situation, saying that athletes suffer because I can't remember cardio something is a condition that they did tie to COVID.
Cardiomyopathy.
Yeah, cardiomyopathy. They were saying like that is that's been tied to COVID.
Mm.
And they were saying that this is, that. But it's like, stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this dude is fighting for his life, playing a game that we've all played in some capacity in our life.
Mhm.
Not me. Not me. I never played football.
You play some
Um,
football.
never played football. But I did see where they were doing like a 4-way screen and they were saying that's the same field that like other injuries serious and like Ryan Sazier was
Shazier
Shazier,
is
yeah.
Carolina and then Tua got
Yeah.
hurt on that field and then I think they said AB
Mm.
got hurt on that field.
Montez Burfict knocked out AB on that field.
Mhm.
Shazier
Is that
was
when AB never was the same after that?
correct.
Yes.
Correct. Shazier and his horrific injury happened. We all
Oh
saw the
God, I
Tua
was watching that game, boy.
Yeah, we all saw the Tua thing happen. But in all of those injuries, and every last one of them, the difference in those and this one, and people have talked about it, is that those guys, even when they were carried off on a stretcher, save for Tua,
Thumbs up.
they gave a thumbs up or they
Thumbs
were
up. Yeah.
okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never saw him get in the ambulance. You never saw them put him on the backboard. You never saw any of that ever. And like to me, that just highlighted how
Yeah. To
how
watch your teammate getting worked on for 9 minutes, to watch them trying to bring him back to life for 9 minutes is, I mean, that sends a chill. Really.
And
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
and we're not even
That's
talking about
crazy.
just medical staff treating, like they're saving his life.
CPR. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Saving his life. They had
Yeah.
the defibrillator out on dude,
Yeah.
So it's
so
like
one of the things that they've been saying is that, like, I'm hearing football players say, this is never happened before. Like they've
Right.
never they've never seen this. A game has never been postponed for injury. And I think
Right.
it's safe to say that we all know that football is a dangerous sport.
Yeah.
Like very dangerous
Yeah.
sport. I think they
So
said the impact of players hitting each other is similar or equivalent to being in a car
Car
accident.
accident.
it
Yep.
is. They say
Right.
NFL linemen are in they are in a simulated car crash every snap
Mm-hmm.
because of the amount of impact and force that they hit each other with.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point that this has never happened again, that's not quite true. Actually, in 71 in Chicago, Chuck Hughes died. Um, and it was the Bears versus the Detroit Lions. Chuck Hughes died during that game. Actually, same type situation. He had a heart
Well,
attack.
and didn't that happen in basketball with was it limb bias?
Yeah, but Len Bias was that was a little different. There was no contact involved.
Okay.
With Chuck Hughes, there was
Mm-hmm.
contact involved. It was actually with Dick Buckus. I believe it was with Dick Buckus.
Oh wow.
Um, he was there was a blood clot that was dislodged
Woo! Oh my
after
god.
after the hit, and that caused him to have a heart attack, and he died. And
Oh.
his widow actually, People Magazine was able to actually interview his widow or get some feedback from his widow as a response, and she was naturally shook up seeing it because it's like, yo, this is literally how your husband died
Mm-hmm.
in a similar situation. What,
Oh.
50 years ago? You know what I'm saying? 52 years ago. So it's not new. It's not new, but I think it's new to this generation.
Yeah.
And when you see an athlete as young as that brother who's playing at the level he's playing at, these guys are supposed to be in peak physical condition. To think that something like a heart attack could take him or take any one of them from this earth, it's hard to fathom. It's hard to
Yeah.
fathom.
So Dev, you saw it the next day. So
Mm-hmm.
not seeing it in real time or that night,
Mm-hmm.
what was your reaction to it once I don't know if you watched it the next day or
Mm-hmm.
you just read it.
No, I read it and watched it. And when it happened, it didn't seem real at first. It was a little jarring at how fast it happened, right? Because
Yeah.
the tackle happens and he gets
He
up,
got
and then
up.
as soon as he got
Yeah.
up, he just collapses. And you
Yeah.
don't usually see a collapse like that in football. You usually see a collapse like that when it's in a combat sport.
Like soccer or
Like
something.
no, like you get
Like
knocked out.
UFC.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
a combat sport, like you get knocked out, or you're getting knocked out either in MMA style or boxing
Boxing.
or
Yeah.
some type of combat sport. That's when you usually see somebody just fall
Drop.
back.
Yeah.
So what really struck me more, the whole thing was just bizarre, but what really struck me was just the responses and the reactions of the players and the teammates.
Mm.
You can see that they was visibly shaken by what was happening and what was occurring. And at that point, I just didn't want to watch it anymore. So yeah, that was my response. That was my thoughts on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So thinking about the day before and the reactions, I think that was, I use Twitter and I'm on Twitter, so I'm looking at everything. And I think C-Mac, are you on Twitter or are you just on
I'm on
Instagram?
Twitter.
You're on Twitter, but I'm on Facebook as well, and I'm looking at posts and I'm reacting, and a lot of people had a response to what Skip Bayless had to say about the incident. And C-Mac, do you have that on hand where you can read
Yeah.
that tweet for us?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, the one that they are reacting to, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial.
Oh, we lost.
Dang,
Oh,
skipped him, cut
we
off.
Skip was like, "Yo, we're having it." Anyways, what he was saying, what to paraphrase,
You don't even have a paraphrase. I got it, buddy.
All right.
So he said, but how this late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. So when you hear that, right? When you read that, when you hear that, what is your initial thought? How do you receive that tweet?
What will say you?
Hold on. Let me make sure Spider knows.
Okay.
All right. He's not a good communicator. And to be a analyst, that's a problem, right? He's not. I did understand what he was getting at. He didn't convey it well, but I understand what he was getting at. The game doesn't matter as a result of this, like the entire game, not just that one game, but the entire sport. It's insignificant at this point because this kid is fighting for his life now as a result of playing a game. So none of that matters. When you are playing at the level at which they're playing at, though, when you're playing at that level, and at this point in the season, because we're talking about week 18, right? The last game before week 18, this game has implications for the Bengals, the Bills, the Ravens, and how many other teams?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. It's so many teams that this game has implications for, right?
It's a big deal. Yeah.
What he was asking is, how do you fix it without being unfair to somebody along the way, right? And that's something that the NFL needs to address. The timing was terrible because it was way too soon. He did not. He put too many words into a tender box, and people only saw what was going to set the box on fire. You know what I'm saying? And that was you focusing on this game. But the reality of it is, it's a very valuable question at this point. How is the NFL going to respond to this? Which is what he should have said. How does the NFL respond to this? Increasing player safety. If he would have wrapped that statement up with, how is the NFL going to respond to this situation? Increasing player safety, equity to teams, blah, 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 blah. I don't think he catches the same heat. But
I still think the last line still negates what he said. Because the last line he says, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. So to me, how I interpreted that was all of that is a factor, but it's right now it's totally irrelevant. That's how I read that, especially because the part that people aren't talking about are the tweets that he gave before he said that.
Right.
Where he did acknowledge the situation and address his, the family and all of that stuff. He did. And I feel like, and this is making me pissed off because I hate taking up for Skip Bayless. I can't stand him. But in this case, I really don't think that he was being an ass.
No, I don't think anybody thinks he was being
absolutely. Yes, they do.
I think
he's being an ass.
A lot of people didn't read the text completely.
They didn't read it. And they're still
but then I also think some people didn't understand it the way it was worded. Like you said, he didn't communicate that well.
Some people that's the part that I will about how he handled Shannon, with the whole Tom Brady being better than you and you named as better before. Like some people are still fuming about that. They don't like that. The point of it all,
Shannon's not over it.
Right. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be because Shannon has a perspective that I do feel like Skip Bayless, he touched the nerve, right? He touched the nerve. Shannon's a part of that brotherhood. He's a part of that fraternity. Skip isn't, right? Mm-hmm. You basically put the sport, or you even alluded to the fact that the sport could be more important than this kid's health, his life, even though that's not what he meant. And Shannon said, I want him to take it down. You know, I won't even take it down. And I'm sure Shannon won't even take it down because if Shannon was really offended, he could have just not showed up. I'm not going back on that show with that dude. I'm done with him. He could have said that. So I think what Shannon was trying to say, or what Shannon would have been able to say eventually, is that I want you to take it down because you didn't word what you said clearly or what you meant clearly. You know what I mean? One. Two, I think Skip needs to apologize, but he should apologize for his poor communications, not for what he said, but his poor communication of what he said. Because that was it just wasn't the right time. It's like, yo, bro, this is just not it, man. Like, shouldn't like let's not even talk about the game.
It seemed like during a time where everybody else was focused on Damar Hamlin, his safety and well-being. Skip was probably one of the only analysts
He broke the seal. He broke the seal.
That made the point about, you know, how do you deal with the fact of this game not going on, you know what I mean, and the implications that it has, right. And the ripple effect. Because all the analysts on TV that were actually on air, you know, and not even that, just, I mean, if you look at tweets from, you know, a lot of other players, other analysts that were on Twitter, they all pretty much put the focus on Damar Hamlin and his health. And so I think, you know, like you said, that last sentence, you know, Crystal, was the part that, you know, that's the part that the emphasis should have been placed on. But I think just the fact that he touched on the NFL and games continuing, you know, I mean, the implications, I think that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, like you could see, right? Damar Hamlin he means a lot to the city of Pittsburgh. He means a lot to a lot of people. McKees Rocks is not that area he's from is not really affluent, you know, and he you know, you break the code, buddy. You get out the system and you make it, right? And you're giving back to the community at the same time, and you're still present there. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I think he still has his location of where he lives as that neighborhood in Pittsburgh. And it's like, I don't know if he really lives there. I doubt highly he lives there. You know, so it's like he is still a part of, like he still shows that he lives in McKeesport. I mean, he lives in Pittsburgh. He's from Pittsburgh. It's like he is Pittsburgh. So it's like he's a hardworking blue collar type kid. And people respect that and they respond to that. You saw how Mike Tomlin responded. You know what I mean? You saw $6 million.
I didn't see Mike Tomlin's response.
Mike Tomlin was like, I've known this kid since he was 12.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Since he was 12. I got to watch him aspire to be great and then achieve that greatness. Mm-hmm. So to see this happen, it hurts. Like, he played at Pitt, you know? So
yeah.
With Tomlin.
I saw that him and his best friend are from the same place. Yeah. And they were both drafted they went to Pitt and were drafted to the Bills same year. I think that is just it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah. It really is. So getting back to Skip, I think is a term victim of your own circumstance? Is that the right term?
It sounds good to me.
It is.
So, you know, I think that's what's going on with Skip. I think people have an axe to grind because they don't like Skip anyway. Right. I actually think that what he said, to me, it was nothing wrong with what he said, because I understood where it was coming from. It was strange because I didn't even see the tweet at first. What I saw was somebody talking about how he was getting roasted and cooked because of the tweet. So I looked at the first one and I'm like, all right, I don't see what the problem is. Then I looked at the second tweet and I'm like, all right, I'm not tracking. And then I looked at the third tweet and I had to read it like 5 times because I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm finding anything that's insensitive to what he's saying.
Right.
So you know, then you go through the tweets of what other people are saying, and you're sick, you're disgusting, you're deplorable. This is his own colleagues.
Yeah.
And it's cursing them out, everything. And
first person I saw was Darrell Revis. I was like,
and I couldn't really understand where the disconnect is. And then I had to second guess myself, right? Because I'm thinking, if so many people is finding this wrong, what's wrong with me finding
Yeah,
nothing wrong with what's
right.
being said? So I think it's one of those things. Timing, yeah, Walter. I'm with you on that. Potentially, timing was not right, but then I don't know how much we can really stay on that because there were people who was thinking the same thing that Skip said. Like as soon as I spoke to somebody who saw the tweet and her response was, "Well, how are they going to postpone it? How is that going to happen?" And what she was thinking is basically what Skip was saying. And for the record, what Skip said after everything went left on him, he said, "Nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the only point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him and will continue to." So I'm not really a big fan of Skip neither, but in this particular case, I don't see where the problem is.
Again, like, so let's, Darrell Revis, let's look at his response, right?
Yeah.
People are speaking off of emotion and personal disdain or preference
For
disdain.
Skip.
Right.
Yeah.
Darrell Revis, think about Darrell Revis is his position in this, right? Same position as that kid,
Mm-hmm.
same college as that kid, same hometown as that kid, probably comparable upbringing. So he probably had an opportunity to see this kid grow up and become the player he became, right? So it's kind of like you get to see your de facto little brother hurting, suffering. Anybody and everybody can get it at that point if they say anything negative, or it just keep his name out your mouth. And I feel like this is one of like you said, victim of circumstance. You're right, Dev. You're 100% right. He's a victim of circumstance, but he's a victim of a reality that he created for past offenses.
Yeah,
This
no question.
to
And
me,
I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that
yeah,
at all.
to,
And
to me,
you
this
know,
wasn't an egregious offense. It was an
no.
ill-timed and poorly communicated
Yeah.
offense.
But see, I
Right.
don't see. Okay, so timing, I can get what you want, but where's the poor communication? I don't. I
Because
understood. I
he
understood what
didn't,
he was saying.
you did, but how many other
But
people
but
did? And
but here
he didn't emphatically, he should have emphatically separated
they shouldn't
the,
have been yeah, they
there
shouldn't have
should have
been
been two
one.
separate
It should
situations.
have been two separate tweets.
Let Damar Hamlin situation, you express your concern, emotion, and give your consideration for what happened. That's that.
But
And
dang, but that kind of
there's no
okay.
timeline.
I understand that. But you know what that sounds like? That kind of sounds like you're not reading things in its entirety and in context, right? That's like
I agree.
we're all men of God, right? So we know that when we're quoting the scripture, that you could quote a scripture that can be totally out of context,
Correct.
right? And you can have the wrong interpretation and the wrong meaning of what it is that you're reciting.
Correct.
Okay. This man tweeted two things that seemed to me that he was aware of the situation and how different and crazy it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he puts out a thought that other people were having. And yes, maybe he shouldn't have said it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it's fair. And this is where the cancel culture thing comes in, and it's not going to be fair. But I don't think it's fair that this man is being roasted and vilified as much as he is for this particular tweet. Well, I don't think he had a malicious bone in his body or he was insensitive to this man's health.
I agree with that.
This tweet got 165 million hits, and the
So
majority of them are negative.
right.
And I'm just I don't like that part of it
And
because
You're
That's because I
100%
feel like
correct.
it's wrong.
You're
It's just wrong.
100% correct. But let's look at this, right? If Donald Trump were to go out and set up a $1 billion trust fund for the Central Park, the guys
The Central Park Five.
Central Park 5, right? Let's say he sets up a $1 billion trust fund for them and their families.
Okay.
Does that in private, never tells anybody.
Yeah.
And at the same time, never walks back that newspaper article ad that he put into the paper at the time, calling for them to basically be executed.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
People will not care that he tried to make right about it because of his past behavior and his past tendencies and his past malicious acts. You see what I'm saying? So Skip is a victim of circumstance, and this is where he should have been able to walk a finer line and understand who he is. Dev, you always talk about being the heel, right? Skip is the heel on that show.
Yeah.
He's the contrarian.
Okay.
And yeah, he should have understood his role as a contrarian is either you're going to be all the way the devil or you need to be silent.
No, I don't agree with that. Not in this case.
Because
when he's playing the heel, he's playing the heel
right,
when it comes to things sports related, right?
But in this situation, he wasn't trying to play the heel. But what he did was his role as
it's
being
his reputation.
His role as being. But hold on, this is what I'm saying. His role and his rep of being the heel, people only saw it through that lens. So even though he wasn't trying to be that way, people could only hear him being that way because that's what they're accustomed to him being.
So to Devin's point, what he's saying is, even though that's the way people view him, and because he has that rep, but in this case, in the entirety of the tweet, he doesn't think or feel like it's fair that he's catching that
it's not
much
fair.
heat.
It's not fair.
I agree.
It's not fair, and I don't agree with the notion of you should, he should have said it differently, or you could have did this. And y'all know me. I'm big on, how can things be conveyed differently, how things could have been. I don't know because I don't see what he said that was wrong. So I'm trying to really figure out
the timing. It was the timing. That's it.
Yeah, it's not what he said.
It's not what he said. It's the timing. Because he didn't say, and at no point did he say the game is bigger than this kid.
Right.
The timing of it. This is what I'm saying. He could have said the exact same thing today.
And it wouldn't have been an issue because there are sports columnists and sports personalities talking about that
right now.
That's 100%.
Right now.
100%. The reality of it is, what is the NFL going to do? Like, how is the NFL going to deal with this week 17, the last game of week 17 that has implications for all these other teams and the playoffs? How do you equitably handle that?
I get that too. You're right. But I think that when, like what Crystal said before, Skip snatched up again. When Skip said, but all of that isn't relevant. He's thinking out loud, it sounds like to me.
And that's what it is.
Hold on. He's thinking out loud, and he's thinking about, and he's saying what other people are thinking, but then he's like, but none of that matters right now. So I don't understand why you would still vilify him when he says, dang, I wonder how they're gonna do this, but that doesn't even matter at this point.
Because and I've said this to you before.
It's because he skipped.
No, not and this isn't what I was saying. Yes, part of it.
No, it is. It is. It's because he skipped Bayless.
And part of it is because he skipped, but also think about it like this too. People read text in the mood and the emotion that they're presently in. He didn't say this out loud. He gave it to people.
Yeah, people misinterpret.
And they read it how they heard it in their mind.
People misinterpret it wrong. Yeah.
And also, don't forget, we live in this microwave generation where everything is.
Well, to my point. Well, that's the problem that I'm having. So
it's trash. It is. He's definitely a victim. Like you said, he's a victim of his own circumstance. He is. However, he he made several errors. Even if I think if Skip would have went on Undisputed and handled his back and forth with Shannon better,
So let's talk about that.
let Shannon say what he had to say. Hold on. Let Shannon say what he had to say.
He should have. I agree with you.
Let Shannon
Should
speak.
have.
And then you come back and say, well, here's why I'm not going to take it down.
And you're absolutely right. But what happened was he was in defense mode because
he's been attacked for days.
He's been attacked for days. But what it sounded like when you look at the video, and what for those who don't know, who's listening and watching, there was dialogue between Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless today. And Shannon Sharpe was doing his monologue, talking about why he wasn't on the show yesterday. Yesterday being Tuesday. We're recording right now on Wednesday evening. And as he was going through his monologue, he brought up the point of Skip taking down the tweet. Skip cuts him off, says he's not taking it down. There was some back and forth, some awkward silence, and then they moved on to the next topic. Very awkward on television. But I do want to give a shout out to Shannon Sharpe for keeping it totally 100% G and professional, even after the disagreement that him and Skip had. Now, one of the things that Skip said was he didn't think that they was going to talk about that on the show. So he was blindsided by what Shannon said. And just like everybody is in their feelings and everybody's emotional as they was tweeting, he was probably in his feelings and emotional and defensive when he cut Shannon off, and he shouldn't have. So there's a lot of things that needs to be corrected in that regard.
But let me
I do want to say this though.
Go ahead.
I don't think he should take down the tweet. I think it should stay up.
All right. That's
I agree. I mean, it's there.
It's
now.
out there now.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Yeah. But people are telling him to take the tweet down. I don't think he should take it
Here's
down.
what I'm saying. I think taking tweets down is stupid unless you're just out and out wrong. But let me ask you this. All right.
Yeah.
So you said you feel like he was blindsided. I've known
that's what he said.
That's what he said, right? But he's
Yeah.
in defense mode. You're gonna say what you gotta say. You know what I'm saying? Like he can't further jump into villain mode. He's gotta
the man said
listen, here's my question.
All right, go ahead.
We've been doing this podcast for several years now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And we know when Derek's not having a good day, not because of something we did, but we could tell his vibe, his emotions is off, right? His voice ain't right?
Yeah.
We know when you're not having a good day. Y'all know when I'm tired and I'm out of it. Like we know when Crystal's out. We can tell, and part of that we can attribute to we've known each other since the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
1976.
All right. We can attribute it to knowing each other for as long as
we look good for
decades.
We did.
Right? We've known it. We can attribute it to that, or we can attribute it to the fact that I refuse to believe that our small budding podcast has more pre-production and chemistry than that well-oiled machine. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that Skip Bayless had no inclination, no clue that Shannon Sharpe was not going to address his tweet in that issue, especially given his absence the day prior. Now, if Shannon and Skip if Shannon said, I'm not going to say nothing about it, and then he went back and said it, that's different. Right? That's different.
Yeah, but Skip said, I didn't think we was going to talk about this.
I refuse.
Did he?
I refuse.
But that's what he said though.
You are literally.
So you refuse to believe it. Dev is taking it for face value
because he is at the focal point. He injected himself unintentionally.
So all right. So wait. So you're not disputing that he didn't say it. You're just saying that you don't believe that he didn't know, even though he said it on live television.
I refuse.
All right, got it. Okay.
I feel like either if he legitimately felt like he didn't know, then that's enough. That is a reason why they should take him off the show, because you, sir, cannot read the room, and that's a problem. Like that's 2 days. No, listen, dead serious. That's 2 days. That's 2 situations back to back where you were not capable of reading the room, and that's problematic. You need to be. We need to take you off the air for a little bit, like give you some opportunity to understand what's going on. Think about it like this, Dad.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me you injected yourself unintentionally, but you injected yourself in the hottest sports topic around the globe?
Are you saying me?
No, him.
Oh, okay.
He injected himself in the center of that
Yeah.
with his statements.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you mean to tell me your co-host, who you two make a living thriving off of going back and forth with each other about, you mean to tell me you think that he wasn't going to bring that up on his first show back?
Well, like you said, pre-production, right? They may have had a pre-production meeting talking about the fact that they wasn't going to talk about it.
That's what I'm saying. If
But what I'm saying is, this is what the man roll the tape. Like let's roll this, let's run it and see what the man said. What he said.
He said, and he said, I didn't think you were going to bring it up because no one here had a problem with what I said. Shannon said that's not true. Apparently, the big bosses did have a problem with it because they wanted to give you an opportunity to clear it up. There was discussion. Now, whether or not the big bosses had the discussion with Shannon,
right,
include Skip, or whether or not Skip is, I don't want to say lying, or whether Skip is in his feelings and emotional, and he's in defense mode.
Right.
It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is Skip Bayless is not that dumb. Eccentric, a bit overly enthusiastic about certain topics, and he's a little bit off base with. Yes. But stupid, he ain't that dumb. There's no way I can believe that Skip did not know Shannon Sharpe was not going to bring that up.
So
and even if hold on there, even if he did not, when Shannon started his monologue,
yeah,
you give him that space to speak.
He should have. Absolutely. 100%.
And that's 100%. Another reason why I feel like this is not, you're hurt because the heat is coming at you, and now it's coming at you right in your face. And you can't run from it. You can't hide by it. You can't hide behind a computer.
Yeah, but I think part of it has to do with the fact that the heat is coming at him, but the heat is,
it's unwarranted.
The heat is unwarranted, right? It's unwarranted. Like this heat is unwarranted. You know,
I get it. I fully get it. Like I said, I don't feel like what he said was wrong. The timing was terrible.
Well, here's the thing. All right. So full transparency, right? You know, this is what we do for our viewers. You know, this is kind of triggering for me in the sense of, you know, going through therapy. Obviously, you see a lot of you get a lot of things revealed about yourself that you don't like, that you need to address. And we all have this thing that goes on with us where we are victims of the things that we may have done in the past. And sometimes our history will dictate how people respond, how people react, and what people say to us because of our history, even though we're not doing the thing that our history may have may have done in the past. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I think that's what's happening right now with Skip, right? Historical data, in fact, shows that he's an asshole, right? And he says things that are ridiculous, and it moves the meter, and people always want to vilify him because, like you said, Walt, he's the heel. But in this particular case, his past history has put him in a position where he's getting unwarranted heat, and I just don't like it. So I'll just leave it there.
Let me ask you this, because I know we gotta go. Crystal, welcome back, but we're gonna leave. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
We all know my past. Right? We all know my past. We know how much of a
I still judge you by it.
Exactly. I know you do. How much of an eccentric guy I was in college, right? All three.
Can you give us some examples of eccentric?
Yes, I can. There were still, and I mean, I'm not ashamed. I'm ashamed of it, but I'm not gonna hide from who I was. because that made me who I've become. Right. So when I was in the clubs and I was partying and I was drinking in excess and I was, partying and doing illicit and stupid things, just dumb stuff. You know what I mean? Running around the club in my underwear, like that made sense.
There we go, Derek. You got an example.
When I would do stuff like that, right? And I did that for a long time. I was dumb.
We know we were there. We were there.
I was stupid for a long time, right? But if people held me to that standard now, decades later,
Come on, Pastor.
they hold me to that standard now.
Bring the message.
Is it? Can I get mad at them
Don't
because I
judge you
gave
by
them?
your past.
No, I gave them. I gave it to them.
Yeah.
I can't get mad at them for being like, yo, I remember when you used to. You right, I did.
For example, the shirt you're wearing now. The shirt you're wearing now. I would be like, so is you trying to say that you would do something to me?
See,
to humble me?
But if you read the whole shirt, this is a God over money shirt. This is about Jesus. This is about God telling you, and this is what I was going to bring the point home to.
Bring it home, brother.
I gotta
bring it home. We're gonna pass the collection plate in a minute.
Listen, I have to humble myself. Seriously, I gotta humble myself to know that I made mistakes. I was wrong. I did a lot of stupid things. Right. But the second I act like, man, y'all got to get over that, God will humble me and put me in my place and say, wait a minute, dummy. You gave them all of that ammunition. You chose this life. You made those decisions. You did that. So I have to step back and I have to say, I gave you this.
Yeah.
And you're 100% correct for feeling the way you feel about me. It's my only job is to be a better version of me, to let you see that's not who I am, right? So to Skip, I would say you gave us that. You gave us this personality. This is who you chose to be, whether it's for ratings or whether that's who you really are. Don't get mad because now people are pissy with you because you made a statement that was ill-timed and it was perceived as insensitive.
Well, he may not be mad.
I don't think he's
mad. I don't think
everybody else is mad because
I think he gives 0 Fs. Yeah, I don't think he cares.
But what I'm saying is I guess what I'm saying is don't act all surprised that people are coming at you. Like he acted surprised.
You mean in the case of the show?
I can't believe you said anything about it. What, stupid? Why wouldn't
Well, no. If you listen to what Skip said, though, he's surprised that Shannon said something about it because what Skip said was, we already said you weren't going to talk about it. And you came on here and said something.
Hold on. Reread it. Walk out the receipts. Read it again.
Say it again.
Why don't we listen to it?
I'm about to.
Run it back. Run it up.
Because Skip said that. Skip said that, the people the people that run the show had no problem with it.
Right.
And then
that's what he said.
But he also said that you weren't supposed to bring it up.
Let's hear it.
He said, I didn't think you would bring it up.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Sharpe, guys. Good to see you. Shannon, I understand it's something you want to share.
Good morning. Yes. Good morning. There's been a lot of...
Stop. Why did Jen know?
Jen know what?
She gave Shannon the platform. She said, I understand there's something you want to say this morning.
Right, because Shannon wasn't on the show the day
yesterday.
Before. So he had to address that.
But he wasn't supposed to bring up the fact that Skip's tweet.
Right.
Let's just hit play.
Speculation of why I wasn't on air yesterday, and I won't get into speculation or conjecture or innuendo, but I will say this. In watching that game on Monday night, what happened to Damar Hamlin struck me a little different. As a brotherhood in the NFL, when injuries happen, when we know injuries are a part of the game, I've seen guys suffer ACLs and Achilles tear, but I've never seen anybody have to be revived and fight for their life on the field. So it struck me a little differently because I remember seeing my brother paralyzed on the field temporarily, and he was able to regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me
finish.
All right. Okay. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead, let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me. You could have came back, Skip.
Well, I thought,
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring out.
No, I was just going to say, Skip. I didn't want yesterday to get into a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanation. So clearly,
no, they did not have. Nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
I was under the impression you weren't going to bring it up.
Under the impression is not saying Shannon said. I'm not saying nothing to you about it.
I didn't say Shannon said that. I said Skip said that.
Right. I know, Crystal. Listen, and I'm sorry. This is what
listen,
Skip.
Just listen.
Right. This is when Skip had you snatched off. You missed this whole part of the discussion. We talked about this. We said, look, whether or not it was a discussion that was held with Shannon and the bosses and Skip with the bosses, and there was a piss poor communication there or whatnot, it doesn't matter. That's of zero relevance. The point is, Shannon Sharpe, if Skip Bayless did not believe that Shannon Sharpe was not going to say something about his tweet on his first day back after the tweet, Skip Bayless needs to be removed, not because of the tweet, but because of his inability to read the room and understand the climate in which he's supposed to analyze. You can't even understand that you literally injected yourself into the most triggering topic around the globe, around the sports globe. And you think that your co-host, who you make a living going back and forth with, is not going to mention that?
I wouldn't. I don't think that was appropriate for Shannon to say.
It was.
I don't. I think it's okay for him to give his opinion about the tweet, 100%. But I think it was inappropriate for him to say, "Hopefully, Skip takes it down." That was not his place to say.
It wasn't Skip's place to say what he said at the time in which he said it, but he said it.
Yes, it was his place to say because that's what was happening at the time.
No,
that was the relevant time to say it.
That was it was never relevant for Skip to say anything about the importance of the football game having to be rescheduled.
Yes, it was because at the time the game was being temporarily suspended. So that was the right time to say that.
Well, we were talking about the first part of the tweet. The game being irrelevant, that, timing of that would have been fine. But
the timing of him saying that was because it was still in question on whether they were going to have the game or just keep it temporarily suspended and have them play. So the tweet was relevant because of what was happening at that time.
But he's catching the heat. The heat he's catching is not because of all of what he said prior to that. You literally are trying to focus in on how are they going to reschedule this. Who cares?
No,
who cares?
The reason why he's catching heat,
Crystal. No. He even said that's irrelevant. So I believe Skip Bayless would agree with. He understands that it's irrelevant. It's how he communicated it and the time at which he communicated. If he'd have said the exact same thing that he said,
the only people that are questioning the timing are the ones that understand what he meant. And they're like, okay, I see what he gets, but there was the wrong timing. But there are millions of other people that still don't understand what he meant. And they're saying that it was the wrong time to say it because they did not like the relevance of it.
And that's not what I'm saying, Crystal, but you literally disagree with what I was saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that.
Listen, real quick. The majority of people, the people whose tweets I read, they are responding in a way that makes it seem like Skip didn't care about this young man.
Exactly.
Right. And that's not correct.
That is so wrong.
Exactly.
That's not correct. That's not correct.
So now because
that's
you
what
think
I'm
that
saying,
way, you want to get this man fired, you want him to be
exactly.
He's deplorable,
what
he's
I'm
despicable,
saying is
yada yada yada.
They're saying
terrible.
It is terrible, but they're saying that because the timing at which he said what he said.
No. We get that part. No. Walt, it's two different things. Timing is one thing. Which
waited 2 days later. If he said that 2 days later, it still would be wrong for them.
Timing is one thing, which let's all agree that the timing was off. I'll agree with you. I'll give you that one.
Wait, time out, Crystal. You agree with that?
That was my point that I was making.
I'll give you that one.
The people that understand what he was saying in the tweet, they understand what he said, but they're saying that the timing is off. The other millions of people are saying he shouldn't have
Yeah.
said it at all.
Because they're
Right.
saying that because
Crystal-
they're believing that this man is an insensitive.
It's being an
douche.
ass.
So Crystal,
Right.
did you
Right.
hear?
It's
Did you
right.
hear? Did you hear what I said though? What I'm saying is, you said it was not the appropriate time for Shannon Sharpe to bring up Skip's tweet and say what he said, and I said,
No,
"Wait,
I did
listen."
not say that. I did not say that, Walt.
You know we record these things, right?
Yep. What I said was it was inappropriate for Shannon to say he needs to take it down. That was what I was saying was inappropriate.
And I said in
He
response
has
to
the
that, and I
right to
said in
give an
response to that, it
opinion
was
about the
inappropriate.
tweet.
And I said it was inappropriate for Skip to say what he said about the football game at the time he said it. But he said
And
that.
I disagree.
But how can you disagree? You just said that you understand what he said and you realize the timing of
I
what
did
he said
not.
is
I said
wrong.
that's what Walt. I said that's what everyone else that understands the tweet is saying. The person that was reading it and understood what was happening at the time of the tweet, understood that he said that because the question was, are we going to extend this game? Are we going to wait to play the game, or are we going to put it off to another
Do
day?
you feel like that was the wrong time to ask that question? Because this
I
man,
don't,
because
because
this
of
young
what was
man was
happening.
fighting for his life.
The only reason why I don't, Walt, is because I understand that Skip had already done 2 other tweets addressing what was happening.
So Crystal,
He had already sent his prayers up.
So
He
when you
already
got
said
snatched
hope
up,
is different.
when you got snatched up by Skip, I said the whole thing about basically reading things out of context, which is
Right.
it seems like what's going on here.
Right. I understand that. And Crystal, what I asked you is, so you're saying you don't feel like he should have waited to even address the football game, even though he said that's irrelevant. Like Devin said, this is what Devin said. And I think this is what you're trying to get at. Skip was thinking out loud, but the problem is that he was typing it. So as he's thinking, he's just typing. And
Because
people
that's
are
his
able,
job.
that's hold on. As he's thinking, he's typing. And the problem is that when you just think and then type and don't like process how it's going to be received,
But he didn't have to think about that, Wall, because he didn't think it was going to be perceived as something malicious, because it wasn't.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
He
your
didn't
point.
think
You
about
should have been able to
he
see
didn't
that.
think about how
I
it was
know.
perceived. It's not if I tweet something out, all 20 people that read my tweet are gonna, either
Sure it's
call
20?
make 25.
I
They're gonna call me and say
I
like,
was
hey,
talking about the other way.
But see, my thing is,
15.
but see,
They're gonna call me. You like, hey, stupid, take that.
so
Hold
here's
on,
my thing.
hold on,
Here's
Crystal.
my thing, Walt.
Crystal,
No, here's my
I
thing.
can't finish.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Wait. All right,
Just
all right, all right.
like Skip.
Crystal,
So what I was
last
saying
statement
is,
on
you
this.
can hold on, Derek. So
Don't be muting me.
you can't say
Don't
that
don't be.
you can't say that it's like you can't agree with it, but you agree with it. That doesn't make any sense.
Wall being petty and muting
Like, how do
C
you?
Max mic.
I guess what I'm saying is, how do you say he can say whatever he wants to say and not think about it and not realize how it's gonna be?
So anyway.
Oh, Crystal took back the power.
I love it.
And you muted. Well, both of them are muted. All right. Dev.
Reality of it is,
yes.
Now, it's just me and Dev here now.
Yeah.
All right, we got a few minutes, right? So
Mhm.
I think we can go on and back and forth on this topic on whether or not
Let
it
me
was
just
right
give
or
one
wrong.
example. One example.
One example, and then we're gonna let's
One
put the
example.
focus on Damar.
Yes. So one example is, and you know how people be like, okay, so let's say I'm watching the football game, right?
Yeah.
And of course, we know me and Derek are, big fans of the
49ers.
Yep.
So I am on Twitter. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, God damn it! If they don't get, because it's how I felt on Sunday, if they don't get number 38, whatever was his name, Noir, whatever, Devontae Adams is his daddy right now. Like, I'm tweeting and I'm saying that, like, if y'all don't get this out the game, right? And I tweet that, bam, post it. One play later, number 38 picks off Devontae Adams. 2 plays later, he picks him off again. 3 plays later, he picks him off again. right? So now my tweet didn't age well because guess what? Now 3 plays later, he's picked him off 3 times. But my other tweet, I didn't take it down because guess what? That's what was happening at the time. So that's what people see. They don't see what was happening at the time because I didn't put a picture of what was happening, right? So at the time that Skip made that tweet, they were in temporary suspension, and that's why he felt like it was relevant to say it at that time. So when it was happening, and because he didn't put any context with it, like a picture of the screen saying temporary suspension, that's why people are saying this is just tasteful. He shouldn't have said that. What now? Now all of a sudden everybody is pissed about it. But what happened at that time was that screen was up saying temporary suspended game across the screen, and so that's why he tweeted that.
All right. You heard it here first,
So
people.
that's when people come back and say
C-Mac
people
versus
respond to my message and say, well,
Walt
that didn't age well. Devontae
Griffin.
Evans got picked off 3 times. That didn't age well.
Crystal, you're saying
You
that.
heard it. Wait,
Crystal,
wait, no, wait,
no,
wait.
hold on, wait. Let me ask my
you can't get a
question.
response. You cannot get a
That's the
response.
dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. I'm gonna
Go
get
to,
him.
cannot.
go to mute him.
So you mean to tell me? So Crystal, you mean to tell me that Skip said what he said and didn't realize that that man was severely injured, and that's why it's okay?
Did that ever come out of my mouth?
You just said when he said it.
The screen when he said it, it said the game was temporarily suspended. I said nothing about whether Skip said he was fighting for his life, because he had already said in the prior tweets,
But Crystal,
prayers to him, prayers to his family.
But that's what I'm saying. Just because I say,
all right.
No, wait. Just because I say, just because I try to give you a bit of a nugget in the beginning, and then I give you a backhanded on the backside.
Stop monopolizing the podcast, all right?
So
we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one.
That is what I'm saying. Agree to disagree.
Thank you all for joining the podcast. We appreciate you. As always,
we know.
Stay peaceful. Whatever.
We know what team.
This is the dumbest. No, it don't even make no sense at this point.
All right, listen. So let's put the focus back on Damar Hamlin, right? We know that, a lot of people may agree with Skip, may see something wrong. People may not see something wrong with what Skip said. But what we do know is that Damar Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest on the field. He was his heart stopped beating. They performed CPR. He was resuscitated. They got a pulse. And I think that happened twice on the field based on what his uncle shared. Now he's at a hospital.
They corrected it. It happened once on the field. It happened once.
And then once at the hospital. Okay. He's currently at the hospital in an intensive care unit, critical condition still. Things are looking a little bit positive, 50%. But 50%. They're trying to see how he's breathing on his own, 50% at this point, and they'll keep working on that. One of the other things I think that, just thinking about humanity, right? So we talked about how everybody dumped on Skip for his tweet. But where I have faith in humanity is looking at Damar Hamlin's foundation, the Chasing M Foundation Community Tour Drive. And I think his goal was $2,500, $2,500. After this incident occurred, when people were made aware of the foundation, they continue to give, and this is people from all over. So much so that
night.
Mm-hmm. Chris, I think Walt might have muted you.
Hey, yo, man.
Such a sore
that alone is not a win-loss thing.
It went up to 1 million.
Hey, listen, man. Big shout out. Big shout out to our boy, the pettiest man in America. He really isn't as petty right now.
Yes, because this is not a win-loss thing. Not a win-loss.
Oh my God!
Yeah, we're gonna listen on our next episode. We're gonna let Walt and Dev and Walt and Crystal. We're just gonna let them go at it, and we're gonna do pay-per-view. So we're gonna pay to let our fans hear y'all go back and forth. So listen, so that night it went to 3 million. It's currently at 6,875,570 dollars.
Mhm.
So if you have given, just want to say thank you for being generous. If you have not given and you're considering giving, just you can go to GoFundMe. The name of the foundation is the Chasing M's Foundation Community Toy Drive. And you know, be leery of some of the others because some people have been setting up some GoFundMe's and trying to take advantage of the situation. So on that, you'll see a picture of him standing there smiling with his Buffalo Bills Scully on.
Would you stop?
Um,
Derek is talking.
and
Why would you tell him to stop? That's rude.
Would you stop?
so Walt is muting Crystal every time she tries to talk. So I just wanted to say, man, if you haven't given and you're considering giving, please do so. It's going to go to a good cause. And with that being said, we're going to say peace.
So, Derek, can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And we might have already talked about this, but I just want to say this. Come on, Walt, stop.
You gonna kick me off the screen and think I'm not gonna say nothing?
Would you stop? Anyway, the one thing I wanted to say, or two things I wanted to say, is for T. Higgins, I wanted to address him because he was the one that got that the hit was on, and from what I was reading, he's taking it very hard, and they said that he has not left the hospital since it happened. So please send some extra prayers up for him. He's dealing with probably extreme guilt, thinking, whatever he's thinking about the hit and what could have happened. And if something happens to this guy and he was the one that the hit was on, he's, going through a lot. So I wanted to send just some prayers up for him. And also just to, I wanted to address Ryan Clark. I know that's a whole nother thing, but I just got to give a shout out to him because I've always loved him. But the way he has responded and just broke down this whole situation, I was literally in tears listening to him. So I have a whole nother love for Ryan Clark. He is just the bomb. That was all I want to say.
Shout out. Appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that point, Crystal. Well, I think we had a great show. And so if you have not subscribed to 5 Things Off the Wall, please take the time to do so right now. We are on all platforms. We're also on YouTube if you want to see our lovely faces. With that being said, in everything you do, take positivity with you. Drick out. Bang, bang.
Those are to you, Walt.
We're not gonna leave.
Peace, beautiful people. It's your boy Dad. Listen, man, follow, like, subscribe. 5 Things Off the Wall. We are available on YouTube and IG. 5 Things Off the Wall. 5TOTW. Peace.